Hello, this is DaimosZ for Tesla's Cube here. When we last left off, we talked about the rough draft to the first episode of Hot Wheels World Race and how it differed in comparison to the final product. Now we shall talk about the rough draft of Hot Wheels AcceleRacers Ignition and compare it to the Ring of Fire rough draft. There is definitely a lot more to talk about with how different the draft of Ignition is in comparison to the final film. The beginning of the movie in this draft starts out very similarly to the opening of Ignition. There's a little bit extra dialogue with Galorm and RDL1 about how she wants Tesla's dead body to be brought to her. The Nitrium Tesla drives is referred to as a generic Tesla racer and is described as being, quote, almost identical to a silencer's car. This was likely the result of the names of the cars seen not being fully finalized, so this generic description was used before the name Nitrium had been finalized. On a related note, the other placeholder names include the Hyperpods being called Power Pods, Synchro being called Traffic, Power Rage being called Equalizer, Battle Spec being called Remix, Rollin' Thunder being called Toolbox, and Hollowback being called Nightmare. The credits were meant to be inscribed into the metal in the drone's assembly line, but this was changed to normal credits just with the drone text font. There was also going to be a drone test track where a few RDS1s are driving around through. The latter concept was possibly recycled for the silencer's introduction and breaking point. After the opening credits, we cut to the coastal track where the Teku and Metal Maniacs are waiting for their street race. There are significant differences between this version of the scene and the final product. Most notably, there are more flashbacks showing the relationship the Teku had between them and Tone. It's revealed through this version that Tone brought Kurt on as a means for the disgraced street breed leader to find redemption after his falling out with Marky, and revealing that Karma had romantic feeling towards Tone, going as far as to give him a kiss before his fateful race. The latter scene was likely removed due to Mattel not wanting a romantic scene in a boy-centric movie, and in retrospect, this decision was for the better. I mean, it would contradict greatly how Karma was shown in the Speed of Silence and not be very fond of Tone and his reckless driving. The scene with the Metal Maniac flashbacks plays out almost exactly the same. When Monkey calls up the radio to see if the road is clear, the voice calling back is described as a generic Metal Maniac, which confirms the long-time speculation in the fan base that there are more drivers to each team than just the ones we see in the series itself. The race between Noah and Torque and the meeting with Gig plays out almost very similarly with the final draft. In this version, however, when the drivers are leaving with Gig, Monkey muses how he needs some new socket wrenches when remembering how Tesla paid some of the drivers millions of dollars. During the drive to the old HQ, Vert manages to tell Karma that he won the world race, but she just brushes him off. This might be why Vert was so eager to prove himself to her in the water realm. Aside from a brief scene where Monkey licks his lips at the thought of Tesla offering millions of dollars to his drivers, there's not any noteworthy differences during this portion of the movies. The first major difference is that the script states the drivers needed to use Nitrox boost to reach 300 miles per hour. This world race idea was replaced by the boosters, probably be more accurate to the toys. Also, Monkey's car's speedometer could only go up to 160 miles per hour, lower than in the final movie. The script confirms the Storm Realm does indeed hover over a city, with its lights visible below. It's unknown what city this is, however. When RDL1 fires the weapon that hits Spinebuster, it damages the car. The damaged part is what Monkey's car seat catches on later. Taro was originally going to take RDL1 head-on with his lava plow, causing both to spin out. Regardless, RDL1 catches up to Monkey and destroys his car, injuring Monkey's arm. Diorato jumps over the car seat, knocking off Monkey's helmet. The Teku cars were originally going to be more computerized, with less buttons and switches and more screens. Vert uses one of these screens to activate his grappling hook that fails. After Kadim's camera goes out, Gig is the one who switches it off due to Wani's shock. After Taro gets hit by the lightning ball, Chicane passes Taro, confirming that Karma was originally behind the Roadrunner until the mine segment. However, right before the mines, RDL1 was supposed to use the Dragster Hyperpod. The original version of the Hyperpods were more like mods that attached on the vehicle, which you can kind of see depicted in the card game. The next scene shows Slingshot and Diora 2 passing Taro's Roadrunner. Vert looks back towards Roadrunner, evidently concerned for Taro, but still focused on beating the drones. When Monkey uses the emergency brake on Spinebuster, Wild twists Monkey's unbroken arm in response, but eventually helps Taro. RDL1, still in the Dragster mod, overtakes most of the drivers. The rest of the scene plays out just like in the movie, though the Monument Realm AcceleCharger was originally named the Relic Realm AcceleCharger, and the end portal being described as more of an arch than a circle. In Tesla's reintroduction, he states that anyone who wishes to leave can do so now. While he naturally wants to leave, Monkey doesn't have a car anymore, so he'll have to wait for now, of course. Kurt refuses help from Vert, evidently mad that Vert caused the loss of their old cars in the AcceleCharger. In this version, Vert is the one who questions Tesla more about the drones increasing power rather than Kurt. When the other drivers arrive to the Accelodrome, Tesla is noted to deceptively tell Kurt that he is afraid of the drones, more or less confirming that Tesla was afraid of the silencers finding the base. Porkchop is hauling a jackhammer and a stripped-down version of Rolling Thunder on Old Smokey, but Riveted isn't mentioned being on it. The script notes an interesting reference. The arm and leg cast Taro is wearing are based on The Road Warrior, the second Mad Max movie. Gig gets blasted away when Scirocco plays his loud music, which seemed like it was going to be a running trend. The final act is similar to the final product, but with several key differences. Tesla identifies the Swamp Realm symbol and shakes his head ominously. The implication is very clear. Tesla knows this is going to be tough. The giant mosquitoes are said to be in the hundreds and are described being the size of cows. There were also supposed to be dragonflies in these scenes, but these were replaced by more mosquitoes. There's a scene where Scirocco and Vert are driving alongside several drones and end up skidding on the swamp water. The drones land in a muddy bog and sink to their doom, while Scirocco and Baseline fly high up in the air, and the swamp slug devours it in midair, much to Vert's horror. The scene with Wild crashing on top of the swamp slug is combined with this deleted scene where the impacted Spinebuster hitting Baseline, coupled with the car's light and music, causes the slug to spit out Baseline. Scirocco was barely fazed by being eaten alive. I guess he's got more than just eardrums of steel, huh? The scene where Vert and Taro take on RDL1 has an additional scene, Vert putting on the accelerator while a soundbite of Gig declaring Vert the winner of the world race from the last movie plays in the background. It seems like Vert was still wanting to prove that he's the best, actions that will cost him dearly later on. In the climax of the race, Taro's engine is shown to have stalled after the crash, which explains where he was during that segment of the movie. The scene of the swamp creatures trying to devour and maim the drivers, and the scene of Noah racing on after being pushed aside by Wild is swapped around, which explains a minor continuity error in the movie itself. Vert's steering wheel gets ripped apart by RDL1, putting the car out of commission. Vert originally gets picked up by Kurt, with Kurt harboring no hard feelings over before. This was changed due to Kurt's car not being a two-seater. The end of the movie shows RDL1 rebuilt and restored. Galore makes the same threat to the robot with RDL2 in the background. RDL2 is the lieutenant that appears in The Speed of Silence. The fact that we are given the privilege to read these two pieces of Hot Wheels history is something that cannot be understated. The other scripts could contain just as much information. The writer of the movies was willing to give these two scripts to someone in the acting industry, and they are the only Hot Wheels scripts he could find. It would be a very mature and respectful thing to do as a community to let him be and cherish what we were able to find. Anyways, this is another Tesla's Q video. See you around.